Okay, this morning we're doing Sciaenochromis freyeri. Again, a single I at the end of a scientific name is a Latin ending and it's pronounced long E. So you say the guy's name, Fryer, and add the E on the end. We lost most of the breeding colony. We did save 7 adult females, Susie, plus 3 that we had in another vat. And then we've got a dozen small ones that I think are females, but I'm not absolutely sure, but I'm going to put them in the breeding colony just in case. If they're small males, it won't be a problem. Okay, I do want to point out something on, let me see if I can find the right female. Not her. Okay, see this female? See the blue in her? I like that. I tend to select for that. This is a species, a wild species, and by doing that, I'm probably changing the fish. Yeah, what do you do? I don't know exactly what they look like in the wild. I don't know if some wild females have blue jaws, but I like her. I'm keeping her. I don't really have any choice at this point. Okay, I've narrowed it down. We had about 8 or 9 young males and some juveniles that we're going to set aside to grow up and add to the breeding colony once they mature. I'm down to 4 males that I want to pick 2 of to go in the breeding colonies. We have these 2 larger males that are nice. I kind of like the one in my right hand. And then we have these 2 smaller males that are a darker color. And that's probably, they came out of the breeding colony. I was probably selecting for darker color. And so I'm going to keep 1 of each to keep the variation. A little bit lighter, a little bit darker. Again, those selection choices change a species pretty quickly. And in addition to the breeder's choices, that alter the gene frequencies in a population. There are also things like, what do you feed them? I mean, these fish in the wild aren't eating Purina Aquamax foods. That's what we feed. So the fish that thrive on Purina Aquamax food leave more offspring. They survive and leave more offspring than those who don't. Those who tolerate this type of handling, meaning that they're calmer, they probably don't generate as many stress hormones, are going to survive better, reproduce better, and leave more offspring. So those fish that adapt to our greenhouse conditions, much warmer temperatures during the summer than Lake Malawi, obviously colder this last winter than Lake Malawi, since the cold killed a lot of the Lake Malawian cichlids. Those are all things that change the fish by presenting them with new, unique environments. And those fish that are accidentally better adapted to those conditions thrive and leave offspring, whereas those that don't survive or don't leave as many offspring. So we change the fish simply because the environment's different, and it's a dilemma. I mean, you want to keep the fish as much as you can from the wild, but let's face it, they're domestic fish now. They're not in the wild anymore. They're not subject to larger fish predators, to diving birds, although we did once get a great white heron in one of the greenhouses. I had to chase it out. But typically they don't have to deal with avian predators, which means that they can be more colorful from above. When fish are exposed to avian predators, they tend to have their colors that can be seen only from the side and not from above. So that selection pressure is gone in here. Wildness tends to go away really quickly. I noticed the other day I was doing a bucket of sailfin mollies, and the males were taking advantage of being in a 5-gallon bucket with a bunch of females to mate. If you go out, say to Coleto Creek or Guadalupe River and collect some wild native mollies, Phacelia latipena, put them in a 5-gallon bucket, they're dashing themselves against the sides trying to get away. And the last thing they're thinking about is eating or mating. But after several generations in our system, they do the same thing that our commercial lines do. Okay, good fish keeping. In a little bit, we're going to do another interesting Malawian cichlid. Good fish keeping.